How do you make the most popular large sedan in America even better? That was the task facing the GM designers responsible for updating the Buick LeSabre for the 2000 model year. Buick LeSabre has been the best-selling large sedan in the American market since 1992 and the best-selling Buick since 1989. Hi, I'm Chuck McLennan for Buick Know-How. You know, over 1 million people currently drive LeSabre, and rest assured, many of that loyal group have very clear preferences about what they expect from this popular family sedan. So, how did GM designers and engineers go about the task of building upon success? Well, in a word, carefully. In this know-how, we'll look at how they have incorporated the most up-to-date technology in the exciting new generation of LeSabre Custom and Limited models for the year 2000, while carefully retaining all of the core qualities that contribute to make this car so consistently popular.
At first glance, people will like this car, that it'll appear to be a pleasant, good, fresh, new car to them. On the other hand, I'd like them a year later to look at it and still feel very good about it, that I purchased this car because I liked it when it was fresh, and I'm glad I did. The morning after should be just as nice as the night before.
The attractive new LeSabre body with its oval grille bears a strong resemblance to the other members of the Buick family, but has its own very distinctive character. Beneath the graceful exterior is an extremely rigid body structure, which actually represents the fourth generation of a concept that Buick introduced with the 1995 Riviera. Building on the Riviera's strengths, the 1997 Park Avenue advanced the evolution of this rigid architecture a step further. Most recently, the 1998 Cadillac Seville elevated the theme to its third generation.
What we tried to do is we captured the lessons learned from all three of those generations of architecture and tried to balance that against the voice of the customer for the LeSabre and tried to make it fit that way. This architecture was robust enough and flexible enough such that we were able to do that and meet and in some cases exceed the customer requirements for the new LeSabre. So we're very proud of what we got here, and you know, one of the things that we try to do here is to apply lessons learned, and fortunately for the new LeSabre, it could benefit from the other users of this architecture.
The key to this rugged body design is the incorporation of several features specifically aimed at maximizing stiffness without adding weight. For instance, the entire side frame from the A-pillar to the rear fender is a single-piece stamping. This eliminates numerous welds. The use of new computer analytical tools helped identify areas where metal thickness could be reduced without losing performance or crashworthiness. The 5-mile-per-hour bumper beams are now an integral part of the vehicle, eliminating the heavy beam extending from the body. More of these structural improvements are visible under the hood. Engine compartment rails are much larger in section and require fewer add-on reinforcements. The engine cradle is hydroformed to eliminate overlap and extra brackets. Also, the shock towers connect solidly to the dash panel. This integrates LeSabre's front end to the main cabin structure. In addition to increased safety, a key benefit of this architecture to the customer is a car that is much less prone to squeaks and rattles. The overall body mass is the same as the current LeSabre, so there's no weight penalty for the stronger, stiffer body. As a result, the new LeSabre offers better ride and handling performance. Contributing to this excellent handling is a superior suspension system that isolates noise and road harshness from the passenger compartment. At the front, there are aluminum control arms and struts. The control arms' front pivot bushings are relatively soft to permit the front wheels to move slightly rearward over bumps and minimize impact harshness. Aligning the control arm's rear pivot bushings with the front wheel center line means they can be tuned more firmly to resist lateral forces for sharper steering responsiveness. Soft entry rebound bumpers inside the aluminum front struts eliminate harshness when the front wheels approach the end of their downward travel. With the new geometry, front suspension ride travel is substantially increased, while the micro-alloy coil springs save approximately 1 pound of weight per side in front. At the rear, a semi-trailing link system similar to that on Park Avenue replaces the strut-type suspension used on the current LeSabre. This design has superior anti-dive characteristics during braking and significantly more travel, so road impact harshness is significantly reduced. Lateral toe links control wheel alignment during high cornering loads, improving stability for emergency maneuvering.
And in the rear suspension, we have an isolated rear cradle with a semi-trailing rear control arm with a lateral link, which provides 100% anti-lift. And what that does for you is, for braking, there's absolutely no lift to the rear suspension, and it provides less weight transfer from front to rear, therefore providing a smoother, better feeling when you're braking, more safe and secure.
Providing the muscle for LeSabre's excellent performance is the latest version of the very successful and highly rated 3800 Series 2. An added crankshaft damper reduces high-frequency disturbances. Fuel lines are supported by rubber isolated clips that reduce noise and vibration transmission to the interior. Notice the engine mounts were moved underneath, providing easier access to accessories and the serpentine belt. The right side engine mounting bracket is substantially stiffer than the current model to move its resonance point far away from the engine's firing frequency. This mount attaches to the oil pan. The pan itself is now a ribbed casting that is part of the engine and transaxle structure. When you look under the hood, you'll notice that, like on Riviera, the battery is relocated to under the rear passenger seat. While technicians will no doubt appreciate that this design provides more room to work in the engine compartment, the main reason for moving the battery is so that it's not subjected to harsh underhood conditions, particularly the extreme temperatures that can exist here in very hot or cold weather. Let's continue looking at some of the exterior refinements that make this car so enjoyable to own. New modular wipers now provide a fuller wiping action. Instead of the wiper arms maintaining a delay position just above the stop area, they are in full motion to the stop position. This prevents snow and ice from accumulating below the wipers and damaging them. Also, washing fluid is emitted through the wiper. Another nice touch is the way water running off the sides of the windshield is managed by channels in the A-pillars. These keep it from streaking the side windows and mirrors. On the roof, there are two gutters, one 2 inches in from the door opening, and another is a rubber seal that stands up when the door is opened. These combine to guard against water trickling down on the vehicle occupants. Notice rearview mirrors are considerably larger than on the current LeSabre, but streamlined for low drag and improved wind noise performance. The mirror assemblies are also hinged to minimize the likelihood of breakage when they are bumped. Attractive body color side moldings protect the doors from dings and bumps too. Door handles are an oval-shaped flush design like other members of the Buick family. The rear of the 2000 LeSabre features a very distinctive appearance. The trunk is enlarged by a full cubic foot. A remote 12 CD changer is optional. In another innovation, the center high-mounted stop lamp uses LEDs shining through a Fresnel lens. The LEDs illuminate more quickly than a regular incandescent lamp bulb. While this initially may seem relatively insignificant, in fact, it gives the drivers traveling behind the LeSabre more rapid warning when the brakes are applied. At highway speeds, fractions of a second can considerably reduce stopping distance for a car following behind. The rear window, or backlight, incorporates the radio antenna. For optimized reception, a portion of LeSabre's diversity antenna is located in the windshield. In response to customer requests, LeSabre's parking lamps can be turned on without illuminating the headlamps. A completely redesigned interior offers spacious comfort for six. A convenience console with extra storage space and electrical outlets is available on both limited and custom models.
We put a lot of storage space in the car, kind of moving toward things people would like. If you count either the number of storage spaces or the amount of volume in the storage spaces in the car, we're equal to what's in a lot of the SUVs today and a lot of minivans today. Now, we had a lot of freedom with this new architecture to move other things around. And what we did was lengthen the wheelbase from 110.8 to 112.2 inches, which brings the wheels out toward the bumpers. In the meantime, shortened the bumpers by using a different type of technology. Rather than energy absorbing struts, we used a foam and a hard bumper beam so that we didn't have as much offset. The bumpers don't stick out as far from the grille. So we can keep the car at 200 inches and yet have more car in between the bumpers.
The attractive new instrument panel now sweeps into the door panels in classic Buick wraparound style. In the plant, the instrument panel is entirely assembled and fully tested before it's installed in the vehicle. The entire assembly is installed with a minimum of fasteners on a rigid magnesium crosscar IP beam that helps eliminate squeaks and rattles. The individual gauges have large dials for maximum visibility. An available driver information center includes a tire inflation monitor and controls for personalizing features such as memory seats and door locks. It also has a display to indicate when the battery rundown protection is active. Rather than dual scale markings that provide both English and metric speedometer readings, the touch of a button automatically switches the speedometer needle to the appropriate English or metric reading. The mode selected is identified with an LED display. The entertainment controls and climate control system are placed as high as possible in the IP for ultimate convenience. The sound system is positioned above the HVAC panel because it minimizes the time drivers spend with their eyes off the road. For the same reason, auxiliary controls for the HVAC and sound system are available in the upper spokes of the steering wheel. Cruise control switches are moved from the steering column multifunction lever to the lower spokes of the wheel. Incidentally, the entire HVAC system is now located inside the passenger cabin. This minimizes the number of pass-throughs to the engine compartment and helps keep out noise. Like on Park Avenue, all HVAC actuators are now driven by electronic motors. No vacuum controls are used. A filter element located in the cowl plenum filters out pollen and other contaminants down to less than 1 micron in size from the incoming airstream. The filters are easier to change than on earlier designs. Incidentally, a single sunload sensor is used rather than 2 as on other models. Traction control is available. The traction function is part of the Bosch 5.3 anti-lock brake system, which is standard. The optional magnetic speed variable assist steering, or MISVA, is also part of this ABS system. This version of MISVA reacts to other conditions as well as just vehicle speed. Anytime the anti-lock brakes, traction control, or a new Stabilitrak system are active, steering effort is actively increased to enhance predictability. Controlling steering effort in this manner aids the driver in handling emergency maneuvers. The front seats use a really innovative safety feature. They incorporate a self-aligning headrest that's sometimes referred to as a catcher's mitt design. The headrest is designed to prevent severe neck injury during a collision. The headrest is initially at the driver's specified comfort level. Upon vehicle impact, the force of the driver's body activates a lever inside the backrest of the seat, causing the headrest to move upward, preventing injury to the neck. LeSabre is the first production Buick to feature side impact inflatable restraints. The new side airbags are incorporated in the front seat backrests, so like the safety belts, they remain correctly aligned with the occupant when the seat positions are adjusted. In a side collision, the bags provide increased crush space between the outer surface of the doors and upper torsos of the front seat occupants. They also provide an energy-absorbing cushion. Side impact inflatable restraints use lateral acceleration detectors mounted within the B-pillars. Threshold deployment speeds have been raised to minimize unnecessary activation of the front airbags at low vehicle impact speeds. Another of the less apparent high-tech features of the new LeSabre is the car's entire electronic design. It makes much more extensive use of the Class II architecture that was introduced on Park Avenue. As you may recall from our earlier know-how programs on this subject, the Class II architecture makes use of an electronic messaging technique known as multiplexing. Many digitally coded signals are sent through a single wire. The biggest advantage of this technology is that it greatly reduces the complexity of the vehicle's wiring harness. As you technicians watching will verify, more than half of all reported electrical warranty problems can be traced to wiring-related issues. By simplifying the wiring, the car's electrical harnesses are more easily assembled at the plant, and that means there is less likelihood of build errors occurring. Connections are also more accessible in that they are located at the perimeter of the vehicle with no more than an arm's length reach. While Park Avenue had 3 bus electrical centers, or BECs, LeSabre requires only 2. One is under hood and the other is below the rear seat. Modules are snap-fit to minimize the number of fasteners. This applies to major components also, like the gauge cluster, the radio, and the HVAC control head. All of these use dock and lock connections. The extensive use of Class II actually enhances both the reliability and serviceability of the vehicle. That's something LeSabre owners can really appreciate. Class II electronics also allow for more features to be included without significantly increasing weight. One new feature, as I mentioned earlier, will be available later in the model year. Stabilitrak is a key part of a new driver confidence package. Stabilitrak is controlled by the electronic brake and traction control module of the Bosch 5.3 anti-lock brake system. For operation, it uses input data from 3 additional sensors. Since Stabilitrak is not yet in production, we don't have them mounted in this vehicle. There's a steering angle sensor in the steering column. The lateral accelerometer located under the rear seat measures the direction and degree of sideways force on the vehicle. The yaw rate sensor measures how much and in what direction the vehicle rotates about its vertical axis during turns. It's located under the package tray on the left side. Using the data from these sensors in conjunction with vehicle speed information, the EBTCM uses the front brakes to correct oversteering or understeering due to combinations of road surface conditions, wind, and driver input. To correct oversteer, the brake for the wheel on the outside of the steering arc is pulsed to nudge the car back on track. For understeer, the brake on the inside of the arc is pulsed. Unlike with ABS, these braking functions occur whether or not the driver is applying the brakes at the time. The 2000 LeSabre is certain to ensure Buick a secure position in the automotive marketplace as we enter the next millennium.
The year 2000 and the 2000 LeSabre means to Buick and Buick dealers the beginning of more contemporary Buick automobiles, and there's more to follow we can't talk about right now that are even more contemporary but still Buicks, but that's where we're going. So stay tuned, stay on board. This is just the beginning of an exciting ride, and I know you're going to enjoy it. The 2000 ride, starting with the 2000 LeSabre, is going to be the beginning of a lot of new exciting products for Buick.
And that brings us to the close of another Know-How. As you may have heard, General Motors has recently gone through some major internal changes as they prepare for the next century. Unfortunately, one result of those changes is that after 23 years, Buick Know-How will not be continued beyond this program. I'd like to close by telling you how much I've enjoyed bringing you these programs over the past 6 years. Your positive feedback has been very encouraging. So, on behalf of myself, Chuck McLennan, and all the people behind the scenes at Know-How, thanks for watching, goodbye, and good luck for the future.